In my video, I'll be showing the use of Google Slides as an ICT tool to help students to learn better. Before I begin my presentation, I would like to stress that Google Slides is not the same as Microsoft PowerPoint, although they have very similar features. Let us now take a look at what the teacher have to do in order to set up Google Slides for classroom teaching and learning. To set up Google Slides for your students, go to your Google page. Click on Google Drive. Your Google Drive opens up. Choose New in a drop-down and then Google Slides. The window opens up and you will be brought to a new presentation that looks exactly like Microsoft PowerPoint. On the top left-hand corner, you can actually choose to type in your file name. In my case, I would be typing in reproduction in plants. Next, once this is done, you can now get started and type in all the information that you need. Now, notice that at the information bar here, it actually says all changes saved in Drive. Google Slides allows the automatic saving of all your data and information in the Drive. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually put in all the information that I would be asking my students to do. Very similar to PowerPoint, I can easily just add slides and actually type in all the information I need. I can also choose to resize the window so that my students can easily type over and their information. I can also delete the box as I would be inserting two images. To insert images, go to Insert Image. I will be uploading them from my computer. We can choose to resize the box by clicking on the left. Once you finish your slides, you may now click on Share on. In my case, I will be sharing with just one person. So the dialog box open up and you would need to actually enter the email address of the person that you would want to share your file with. You can choose to add a note if you wish. Otherwise, you can just click Send. The icon on the right allows the addressee to edit the files directly, or to just comment, or to allow them to view only without making changes. But as I would like my students to participate in it, they will be asked to edit on the file and send. Okay, then once this is done, we will now take a look at the student interface. Notice that on the top right-hand corner, there is a student that has actually joined me. This person is called Amos. And as you notice on slide 2, the box is actually highlighted in pink. This tells me that Amos is currently working on slide number 2. Now, In our interface, all the teachers have to do is to just sit back and relax while the teacher watches the content that Amos is going to add inside the box. This information is uploaded in real time, and the cursor will represent who is the student who is currently typing in the information. The teacher notices an error in the student's words. The teacher can choose to intervene as the student continues her typing. For example, the word oxygen is wrongly used in this context. The teacher can actually highlight this and click to insert comments. To do so, the teacher can either click on comment at the top, or the teacher can simply do a right click to add comment. So as a teacher, I can actually ask the student anything I want to probe further along the line of these comments will automatically appear on the student's slide at the same time. Let us now have a look at how it looks like on the student's interface. As you can see on this screen, this is the student's interface, and the students now get a box from Teacher Sarah that asks, where is oxygen found? In order to rectify this, the student will then need to go back to the highlighted words and make the changes. And as the student actually make the changes, again, these changes will be reflected on the teacher's screen. So once the changes have been made, the student can then go back and actually click that it has been resolved. And the timing of resolution will then be reflected. If the student has got more questions to ask, the student can actually add comments. We will now come back and have a look at the teacher's interface, assuming that the students will now be putting in inputs, and we will see how it looks like on the teacher's end. As you can see on the teacher's interface, this information has been rectified and the comment is no longer available. The teacher can actually go in and choose to close this and go on to manage the information for other groups. So what kind of affordances does Google Slides offer the users? In our analysis, we will be looking at 3 different criteria: pedagogical affordances, social affordances, and technical affordances. Pedagogical affordances refers to how well an ICT tool can help to achieve learning objectives. It supports both the pedagogical approach and learning activities in order to engage students in their discipline discourse. So to what extent does Google Slides offer pedagogical affordances? First, Google Slides focus on student-centered learning. It allows teachers to embed video files and content into the slides, as shown earlier of how teachers have actually embedded images of the balsam as well as the rubber seats. Students can review the slides and learn at their own pace if needed, or they can actually use the slides to revisit their learning to clarify missing gaps. Google Slides is also a shareable and collaborative tool. It strongly promotes collaborative work among students. It can also be collaboration between the students and the teacher. Students can work collaboratively on the tool to advance their learning. They can also help to edit and improve on their peers' work. Teachers, on the other hand, can extend learning by guiding students with inquiry questions, as shown earlier, during the process via the use of commands. There is synchronous communication online via the chat function to facilitate group communication if needed, as shown on the right-hand panel of the slide. It is also very process-oriented. As you can see, the focus in this activity is to give every student a voice, to make their thoughts visible to the teachers. When students receive immediate feedback about their progress and rectify gaps, the delivery of a beautiful and perfect slide is de-emphasized as the teacher reorientates the student to look into what they are learning. Google Slides also helps to increase students' motivation. As you can see, there is a fairer distribution of one-to-one attention that is given to each student compared to a whole class setting. Students' confidence for the subject also increases as they work to improve their understanding of the topic from the feedback that the teacher provides them real-time and immediate. There is also ability to use Google Slides to generate ebooks that students have created and make animation. All this helps to increase the learning and make it more interesting, increasing students' on-task engagement. The second affordance, social affordances, refers to the properties of an ICT tool that affects a learner's social interaction. In terms of social affordances, there are a few factors that we need to consider. First, safety. We need to ensure that the environment is safe so that students are able to share their thoughts and ideas freely without fear of being subjected to discrimination. The sharing of files is private, as you can see earlier on, and it is strictly by invite or links only. Besides providing feedback, the teacher plays the role of a mediator to ensure that the use of online communication protocol is followed through and students are not subjected to cyberbullying. Secondly, we notice that there is also an equal opportunity for learning. Google Slides in this case has been used for as a group work, but it also can be used as individual assignment where students can actually work on the pieces of work independently before the teacher merges the file back together. The final file is then proofread, vetted, and edited by all the group members. The last factor looks at the convenience of use. Google Slides offers students a variety of ways to present data using video, tables, text, and diagrams. Students can also trim their videos if needed in Google Slides. The synchronous learning allows students to engage in collaborative work and learning from various locations, regardless of where and when they are. The last affordance that we will look at refers to technical affordance. It is the usability of an ICT tool. In the case of Google Slides, the usability is definitely high. Number one, it is free for all Google account users. Non-users can also easily set up the account with minimum hassle. 2. The sharing of files, although it is limited to 200 students, it is still considered a relatively large number. But one has to take note that editing of the file is limited to only 50 users. But in the typical classroom environment where a maximum of 40 students are in the class, 50 still exceeds the demand. Each student also have up to 15 gig of free storage, which is also likely to exceed their requirements. Also, this tool highly resembles that of Microsoft PowerPoint and is user-friendly. There is very shallow learning curve that the student will experience. The work in Google Slides is auto-saved and students can access the files from remote locations. In conclusion, Google Slides is a great tool for collaborative work of varied nature. For example, students can use Google Slides to present data and information that they have actually found online. They can also use Google Slides to make artifacts, including posters and ebooks. And also, the teacher can actually use Google Slides to teach digital arts, asking students to use the varied shapes to form pictures. There is also the learning that they can do independently at home, where students can review the content online and ask questions if needed. Students can also use it to actually create digital portfolio that can be published online and share these portfolio with their parents subsequently during parent-teacher conference. In this way, Google Slides can be used both as an individual tool or a collaborative tool. Like all other ICT tools, Google Slides has its own fair share of limitations. For example, when used in a classroom, there is a very high demand on the teacher's attention as she tries to provide immediate feedback to everybody. This may not be possible in a class setting. One way that I suggest that the teacher can do is to actually have the peers critique the work first through the file sharing application before the teacher then provides her inputs. This allows students to actually do some form of peer assessment as well. Students will also need to have some competency in using Microsoft PowerPoint and some level of typing skills. Google Slides also does not allow the organization of students' thought as easily as other tools such as Padlet or Linoit. And in order to facilitate real-time feedback, both the students and the teachers must be reviewing Google Slides at the same time. Otherwise, students or teachers cannot be informed of comments that have been uploaded via Google Slides.